All right, so here's an explanation on how to play the game Dealing Down. Now, the object of this game, Dealing Down, is to try to get the lowest possible number. So, you see in your lab sheets that I sent you, you have one double-sided piece of paper, and the front side of the piece of paper has a game tally sheet. And this game is meant to be played with multiple people. I am going to try to encourage people to play via Edmodo with you, Takola. I think that would make a lot of sense. So you could play in real time with people through Edmodo. That'd be kind of cool. And so I need you to play this game 5 times. And in these 5 times, you are going to get 4 numbers. And you may notice on the other lab sheet, the one with a bunch of numbers, you'll cut those out, and then you'll shuffle them and then randomly select or turn over the top 4 cards. And with those 4 cards, or numbers, you're going to try to find the lowest possible number sentence that you can. Now, you're allowed to use addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. You're allowed to use parentheses and brackets. And you are allowed to use one of the numbers as an exponent. You are not allowed to use any of the numbers multiple times, and you're not allowed to change the numbers at all. For instance, if you have a 8, you can't turn it to negative 8. You gotta stick with it. And again, the object is to write a number sentence with the lowest possible value. So let's play this game once. In class, some brave soul selected these 4. They're really original in their picking. And so we have to come up with a number sentence that includes -8, 4, 7, and 1/3. And you have to use all the numbers, and the number sentence we are to come up with should have the lowest possible value, a negative. So after about 5 minutes, we disclosed our number sentences and see who had the smallest number. One of your classmates made a self-portrait, very cute, and came up with this number sentence. They said -8 times 4 to the 7th divided by 1/3. And they came up with this very large number. And if we count place values, we have the hundreds, thousands, millions, billions. A big number. In the negative billion, sorry, a small number because it's in the negative billions. Unfortunately, that was not the smallest number possible. Some brilliant soul in class, not sure who that could have been, Mr. Famke, came up with this number sentence. I included the -8 inside the grouping symbols. So I had -8 times 4 divided by 1/3, and I had all of that taken to the 7th. And the interesting thing about exponents is, if you have an odd exponent, and you're applying this odd exponent to a negative number, then your result will end up being negative. If you have an even exponent, even if it's being applied to a negative number, it'll end up being even, because a negative times it'll be positive, because a negative times a negative is a positive. And this number is so big that the calculator couldn't show it. And the calculator had -8.06, and then it would say E13. This E simply means times 10 to the 13th power. Well, how small is that? So if I put -8.06, and it's times 10 to the 13th. I need to move this decimal place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times. And so this gives me a number, rounded of course, in the hundreds, thousands, millions, billions. This number's in the trillions. 80,600,000,000,000. And I am just dropping the rest because this is such a small number. And this was the winning number. And so on your lab sheet, you would write your guess, or your number sense, and the winning number sentence. And you play this 5 times. And you'll start seeing different strategies that will net the smallest possible number. Once you've played the game, then you are going to have to write a report. I know writing reports in math, not my favorite, but we have to do one every year, so this is the one, so just kind of deal with it. And in this report, you have to have essentially 6 paragraphs. And here's how I suggest you break them down, and this aligns perfectly with your rubric that I've given you, so you should follow your rubric. You're going to have an intro, then your second paragraph, I would include the game procedures, that's the rules, and the game strategy, the strategies people use to win. The third paragraph is how you operate with operations, and that includes all algorithms for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Don't forget, you need to include positive and negative numbers, and this is going to be your largest paragraph. 4, you're going to discuss the order of operations. You need to give us examples. The easiest way to write about math is to write a full example and then do the example and explain every step, and that will cover it. Your 5th paragraph is going to be to discuss the commutative and distributive properties. Again, give examples and write about those examples. And then finally, you will have a conclusion, 6 paragraphs. And please use the rubric given to you to self-assess before you turn it in. The number one reason why kids get low grades is because they leave out parts of it. Please use the rubric. It'll make your grade much better. So that is the unit project. It is going to be due not this Monday, but the following Monday, so you have 2 weekends to work on it. And that's all I have about the Dealing Down unit project.